So basically, the reason why I'm doing this what if, it kept coming up in my mind because I searched this up one day, and I saw that there was like nobody who did it. Like I saw like a few like what if Deku was Gran Torino's son, which I didn't really understand that because Gran Torino's like 90 or some shit. So it just kept coming up in my mind. I was like, what the hell? Why doesn't anyone like do this? So because like Gran Torino, he's awesome. So if you haven't read the title, this is what if Deku was Gran Torino's grandson. All right. So I'm just gonna call his last name Torino, cause I know it's not his last name. I know that's his first name, but I'm really just too lazy to figure out what his last name is, and like it's really hard to pronounce for me. So I'm just gonna call him Torino. If any of you know how to pronounce it, basically like break it down in the comments. That would help me out a lot. All right. So getting to the story, the way that I want to do this is basically. So Gran Torino, he gets back from heroing for the day. He's like, God, it was a long day. He was like, he's tired. Him and Nana are having a drink. They're partying it up. Nana's like, you know what? I'm going home. Like she's dead drunk, and he's like, yeah, you should do that. Like they're both dead drunk, and then she's like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. What's it called? She's like, I'll see you tomorrow, pal. And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Because they're dead drunk. So, if you thought that Nana was going to be, with Gran Torino, she already has a family, weirdos. But, it's Inko's grandma. So she walks into the bar. She's crying and stuff like that. Gran Torino, he walks up to her. He's like, what's wrong? Like he sobered up a little bit. He's like, what's wrong? He's still drunk, so she's not going to take him fully seriously, but he's like, what's wrong? And then she's like, oh, my boyfriend, Inko's grandpa. No, not Inko's grandpa. It's Inko's mom and Inko's dad. Like they broke up in this timeline. So like my boyfriend broke up with me, blah blah blah, this and that. And he's like, I'm really sorry about that, but he's like, don't worry about that guy. Honestly, he's probably missing out, And she's like, oh, thank you and stuff like that. And so he's like, barkeep, get us a drink. So she's having he's having a drink and she's having a drink too. They're just drinking it up again. Like Gran Torino, he's dead drunk now. He's like barely walking straight. And Inko's mom will say she's pretty much a lightweight. And then so what's it called? So she's like, you know what? You're too drunk to use your quirk right now. Like they're just they're just talking. And Gran Torino's like, you know what? You're right. So they're like, let's get out of here because we're too drunk for this. Like he's like let's get out of here and have more fun somewhere else. Because this place is boring. Because they're about to get kicked out because they basically drunk the place dry. So they head out. What's it called? And then one thing leads to another. They're in a motel and babies are made. Kind of, not really babies. A baby is made. But so Inko's mom wakes up first. And then she looks and she realizes what happened, and she realizes that this is a pro hero, and she knows that if she tells everyone about this, she's gonna destroy his hero career. So she basically leaves and writes a note, and she's like, not destroy his hero career. So she leaves, she writes some notes. She's like, oh, I had a fun time and stuff like that, and then she leaves. So a few weeks later, she feels pretty weird. She's like, So she goes check and she's pregnant. All right, just So she's like, should I tell the pro hero? She's like, he probably wouldn't even believe me and stuff like that. But what's it called? So basically, she's just not gonna tell Gran Torino. So Gran Torino's not gonna know about this for a while. So Deku's grandma, she's gonna be around a lot. So she's gonna be called Izume. Yeah, that's what we're gonna call her, because she's gonna be around the whole story, basically. So, Izume, she's like, I'll just deal with this on my own, because, she knows that if, a pro hero has a kid, they have to stop, they have to worry about that. And plus, it would look bad on his record if, he had a kid. Even though nobody really knows this, I don't know if you guys know this, but Gran Torino basically only became a hero just to use his quirk, out and about. So, Deku will get a few things from Gran Torino, basically. So it skipped a generation, so, she got so Inko, she got her mother's, telekinesis, right? And then, one thing led to another. She met Asashi, babies were made again. And then, Izuku happened. But what's it called? Inko had green hair like her mother, but, what's it called? Unlike, it skipped a generation, basically. So, Izuku, he had white hair. He basically looked like this, but a baby. Like, imagine a baby version of that. So, he's like, Hasashi's like, what the hell? And then, Inko's like, what the hell is going on? Hasashi, he's about to say something, and then, Inko's grandma is there. She's like, he looks just like his grandfather. And, Inko looks at her like, his grandfather, you know. And then, she basically explains that, his grandpa, like, she explains what happened, and, she's embarrassed because of what happened as well, because she's still a Midoriya, and she's like Inko. So, she's like, it probably skipped a generation. He's probably going to get his, grandpa's quirk, if anything. So, he is going to get his grandfather's quirk, but better. So, so Deku, he grows up. He goes to the hospital, right? He's 4 years old. He goes to get his quirk checked out. And, they're like, wow, your son has an amazing quirk. He has the quirk called Jet. It's just like this old hero's. And then, and, like, Inko hears this, and she's like, oh, really? Because she knows what happened, but she doesn't really want. Like, her mother, like, was like, please don't tell anyone about this, I didn't want to ruin his hero career, and, it'd be a bother now. So basically, Inko, like, she respects her mother, so she's not going to say anything about it. Oh, I need to turn off. No. Yeah, there we go. That should help me now. So, So, Inko, she's like, yeah, wow, really? And, the way Gran Torino's quirk works, he has, like, these boosters in his, like, legs. Like, kind of like Ida, but he has, like, these jet boosters, basically. And, like, the way it works is he takes in air and he just, like, shoots around with it. Like, so, depending on the amount of air he takes in, he'll shoot around, like, more and more or less and less. So, like, if he takes in, like, a little gasp, he'll shoot pretty far, but not as far as he could if he took, like, a deep breath. That's why he can't go too high or anything. That's, like, one of the weaknesses. He can't go too high. But other than that, it's basically, like, amazing flight. And, like, I love Gran Torino, and I love, like, what he does. So Deku, he's gonna have, like, basically the same mindset of Gran Torino. He's only gonna become a hero just to, like, a little bit to save people, but mostly just to use his quirk, like, outdoors. So, what's it called? So Deku, he looks like a young Gran Torino. And, well, someone requested a certain ship that I couldn't do for the Hashirama one. So, I'm gonna just make that the ship here, So, like, Yue is going to be at college for this, so you already know this person is a pro hero. So, what's it called? So, Deku, he's heading off. He's heading to, what's it called? He's in, like, let's say, middle school now. Does he know Bakugo? Do I want to make him know Bakugo? Yeah, he knows Bakugo, but, like, he never really talks to Bakugo, because he already tells what type of person Bakugo is. So he just trains his quirk and works out a lot. So, basically, he's looking more and more like the picture right now. And then, after he becomes, like, 15 and he's about to leave middle school, basically, Inko's like, we should tell him about, his heritage and who his grandfather is and stuff like that. And then, because he's old enough to understand what happened, basically. And then, so, Inko's mom tells her, like, okay, fine, you can tell him, basically, but he can't tell, Gran Torino, basically. So it's just like that. So, Deku, he's like, Inko tells him about, like, yeah, this is such and such happened, and, such and such happened. She left out a few details and stuff. And then, like, what's it called? So, but Deku basically understands, like, the full thing, though, basically, about how, they met in a bar, and then one thing led to another, and, she didn't want to bother him with it, So, after that, Deku, he was like, alright, I understand, so, let's go. Yue will be at college, alright? Deku will be going to college, Yue. Alright, so keep that in mind. So, Deku's in high school right now. He basically looks like this now. He looks like this. But he's just, he's walking around and stuff like that. And he's looking, he's in his last year of high school, basically. So he's like 17, 18 now. We'll say 17. And he's basically just like watching this pro hero fight. It's basically like Kamui Woods. He's about to do his wood prison thing, and and then like Deku's like, wow, that's kind of cool, I guess. Like he isn't as interested in heroes, but he'll like take mental notes. He won't really write down in a notebook or anything like that. And he doesn't really care about All Might. What's it called? So Deku's gonna be pretty different in this. He's still a nice guy and stuff like that, but he just like he literally just he basically has the same reasons as Gran Torino, and he's not gonna be as wise. He's still gonna be pretty cocky and childish. But he'll meet Gran Torino soon, so don't even worry about that. So and then Deku's watching this, and then he sees like Mount Lady come in and like drop kick the shit out of the villain, and he busts out laughing like like that. Like that was the funniest shit he ever seen, because like she drop kicked the shit out of him. And after that, he's about to walk away when he sees that like Kamui Woods is asking Mount Lady to come to the alleyway basically to talk to her. And he gets a bad feeling of what might happen, so he's like, I know some pro heroes are shitty, so he goes over there. Basically, he hears Kamui Woods like talking to her like that was my job, like I had it. And then she was like, I'm sorry, I just wanted to make a good entrance because like this was her first entrance, so she is like basically like brand new to being hero. She's like, and he's like, like, because they are, I'll say they are dating and stuff like that. And Mount Lady is the one who puts in the work for the relationship, not Kamui Woods. So you can already tell who you can already tell who the ship is gonna be. So Kamui Woods, he's like, what, like what, you like this type of shit has been happening all the time, and she's like, what do you mean? And then basically he's just like, it's over. And then she's a bit heartbroken, but she's like, all right, I have to keep a straight face. Keep a strong face. And, Kamui Woods, he leaves from the other side of the alleyway. She tries to go the other way. And, she sees this dashing fellow, like, leaned up against the wall. And then like, she's like, what's up? Like, what's up? Are you gonna, talk about, like, make fun of me, basically? And then he looks at her funny. He's like, why the fuck would I make fun of you? Because, that guy's an idiot. And then she's like, what do you mean? He left you because, you just wanted to show off for a little bit. And then she's like, well, I mean, but I stole the hero, I stole, the spotlight from him. And he's like, okay, but he left you because you stole the spotlight? And then he's basically bringing up the fact that, Kamui Woods was, like, a terrible boyfriend if that's what he did. So, basically. So she's like, yeah, I guess so. He's like, don't worry about him, he's like, he understands, like, how it feels to break up, because he's had a girlfriend or two. Because, look at this guy. Look at this handsome, fiendish devil. Like, of course he's had a girlfriend or two. So he's like, yeah, I understand what it's like to just, like, have, like, a shitty relationship, because he's had a shitty relationship once or twice. So he's like, yeah, I've been in a shitty relationship or two, so I get it. She's like, wow, I'm getting told by a high schooler, hey? And then he's like, I'm almost out of high school, So she's like, all right, thanks, for helping me out. And he's like, I hope I see you around, Mount Lady. And, she's like, you can just call me you, because, that's her name. So he's like, all right, you. And then he leaves, basically. He gets, like, to, like, the next alleyway, basically. He looks around, and then he takes a deep breath, and he just jets off, because he doesn't feel like walking. So he lands on top of, like, the roof of his house, basically. And, like, his grandma lives nearby. So she's like, you shouldn't do that. Like, she yells out, you shouldn't do that, Izuku. He's like, sorry, Grandma, I didn't feel like walking. She's like, fine. So Deku, he now has the 10 months of training, basically. I know that was a shitty way to build up the ship, but, don't judge me. So he now has the 10 months of training. And, Deku, he's been training his ass off. He's now looking like this. He actually looks like the photo now, like, fully. So, that is going to be his hero costume, since he knows about his grants. Because he knows that his grandfather will hear about him if he goes to UA, because he knows that his grandfather was a UA teacher. So basically, like, so he plans on making this his hero outfit. Plus, it works great with his quirk. And what's it called? So yeah, he's like, all right, he's training for the 10 months, and then what's it called? He didn't run into the sludge villain because that was that'll be someone else, whoever you want to have one for all, because Gran Torino's already fucking OP, because he took a smash from All Might like when he tried to hit all for one and was perfectly like he flinched from that shit, and he beat the shit out of All Might as like and All Might's still fucking scared of him. So I think that Deku, who will also get a quirk evolution since he's the next generation, so he will be stronger than Gran Torino. Will be, stronger than Gran Torino. So basically, now Deku he's trained up. So now he's like he's pretty fucking fast. He's definitely faster than Ida, definitely faster than Ingenium. Who else? I'd say that right now he's halfway through the 10 months. Let's say so. Right now he's at All Might's like 50% speed. Cause like I'm trying to make Gran Torino's grandson OP as shit. Like not gonna lie, cause I love Gran Torino. And what's it called? So now he's been training basically, and then someone notices him, and like it's like it's basically like All Might. He notices like this guy training, and like he notices the way he fights and stuff like that. Cause like Deku did watch like videos, they weren't high resolution videos cause it was olden times, but he's watching videos of he watched videos of Gran Torino fighting, and he's basically like, copied Gran Torino's fighting style. So All Might's watching this kid like fight exactly like his master, and he's shaking because like it's giving him flashbacks of like getting his ass kicked by Gran Torino. Because All Might did get his ass beat by Gran Torino, just like he's about to get from Deku, but we won't talk about that for now. So Deku he's been training for the next 10 months, and now he's like at you're gonna hate me for this, but he's like at 100% current All Might speed. Nah, 80%. Let me lower him down. He can't be 100%. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make him OP for no reason. But he just trains his ass off. He's like Mirio, but his quirk is actually like easier to like master. So Deku like basically like his training regimen is him like going underwater and holding his breath for as long as he can. He does push-ups, sit-ups, squats. He goes high in the air and then like basically like finds the perfect way to land, and then like he flies at certain ways that will make him like perfectly fine. But like All Might's watching this, and he's like that's just like Master, because Gran Torino did teach him everything about One for All. So but I don't know who the successor will be. I might make it like Kirishima, just because Kirishima's pretty cool. Or you know what? A lot of people don't do Todoroki, which I don't really get, because Todoroki would do it, but he'd do it just to spite his dad, so All Might might not choose him as a successor. So I'll say for now it's Kirishima. So basically, like Kirishima sees All Might looking at this guy, and he's like, "Yo, All Might, what's up?" And then and then like All Might's like, he fights just like my master did, and he's like, "Who is your master?" Like are you talking about the former user of One for All? He's like, "No, someone much scarier than her." And then he's like, "Who is that?" He's like, "My master, Gran Torino." And he's heard of Gran Torino basically. Like he was like, "One day Gran Torino will train you," and he said this while shaking. So Kirishima knows to be scared of Gran Torino. He's like, "So that guy fights just like him?" Like, he's like, "Yeah, if not, he's even faster than him, So, like, now Kirishima's scared. Because, like, he's like, this guy, he's probably going to try to be a hero. So he's like, but, like, at one point he's, like, scared, but at the other side he's like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome, like, to have a rival like that. He's like, he'll probably be manly as hell. So, Kirishima, he's like, can I go talk to that guy? He's like, I mean, if you want to, I can't tell you what to and not to do. And, basically, Kirishima, he's walking over to, Deku. So Deku, he looks at him, he's like, can I help you? He's like, you fight a lot like a guy that I know. And then, Deku looks at him confused for a second, he's like, who are you talking about? He's like, this old hero named Gran Torino. He's like, me? Fight like him? Nah, never heard of the guy. He's like, really? He's like, your quirk's pretty similar to him. Like, he's like, nah, my quirk isn't like his at all, probably. And he's like, how do you know that your quirk isn't like his at all? And he's like, because it's my quirk, you know. He's basically, like, sweating bullets right now because he's not trying to get found out. But, like, Hiroshima's dumb, low-key, so he doesn't figure it out. Basically, if All Might was there, he probably would have figured it out. But, so now it's been the 10 months of training, basically. And, you know, and All Might did tell Gran Torino about how he saw this kid fighting just like how he did. So, you know, Gran Torino's interested. So remember, Deku looks like a young Gran Torino. And All Might does kind of notice this. He's like, this kid kind of looks like Gran Torino too, you know? So he calls Gran Torino over. He's like, you might want to see these entrance exams coming up. And, you know, Gran Torino, he hears this and he's like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. And, you know, Mount Lady's there too because I have to build the ship. Also, she's gonna be an assistant teacher. No, she won't be an assistant teacher. She's just there to scout out, like, future, you know, people to join the hero agency for, what's it called? For like, her agency, basically. She's there with Kamui Woods, and, like, they're not talking, because, you know, they broke up. So, you know, Deku, he's walking in there. He sees, like, a few heroes, like, waving people in. And, you know, he sees, like, Mount Lady being one of the heroes, and he sees Kamui Woods on the other side. And, like, he waves at Mount Lady, and then, you know, he just, like, glares at Kamui Woods for a second, and then keeps walking. You know, Kamui Woods, like, what the fuck is that kid's problem? Because, like, Deku doesn't like Kamui Woods after, like, the initial meeting that basically they had. It wasn't really a meeting, but from what he's heard, basically, he knows that Kamui Woods is a dick, so he doesn't like him. So, you know, Deku did study. He's smart. So, because I can't have a dumb Deku. So, he studies up. He studied up, so he gets an A. He doesn't get number 1 like he would in, like, my other What If. So he gets, like, let's say, a B. So it's a pretty high score, especially for, like, that kind of test. And it is, what's it called? UA is a college, so he's, like, 18 now. Like, his birthday came around. So, then Deku, he's, like, they're like telling people about the robots. You know, Ida gets up. He's like, "Why haven't you told us about what about that robot? If this is Miss blah 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 about UA, then I'm gonna be mad. You know, blah blah blah. I'm severely disappointed." And then, you know, Deku gets up. Like, can you shut up? Like, you know, he's like, "Can you shut up? If you let the man, like, explain, he probably could have gotten there. You know." And then, like, and he's like, and then, like, Ida sits down, and then President Mike's like, yeah, I would explain. Thank you, gray-haired kid. He's like, yeah, whatever. So he sits back down, and he's like, all right, change it to your outfits, basically. So everyone's wearing, like, average track shit. But then Deku, he's out there. He's like, he's trying to flex. So he's low-key, because he knows that he saw Gran Torino, basically. Like, he saw Gran Torino in the corner of his eye, and he brought the hero suit just because. And he was like, well, either way, he's gonna figure me out soon, so I might as well, you know, look badass revealing it. So, you know, he walks out there. Everybody's looking at Deku because he's wearing a full hero costume. You know, everyone's like, wow, he's confident enough to say he's already uses hero costume. Because they don't know what Deku is about. You know, they don't know that this Deku, he's fast as shit. But, so it's about to start, and, you know, President Mike's like, 3, 2, like, no, he's not like 3, 2, 1. So the doors are opening. Deku just slides under that shit because he doesn't have the time of day. And then everybody's like, is that allowed? And, you know, Gran Torino, he's watching this kid. He's like, his outfit's a lot like mine, basically. Because he hasn't seen a music work yet. And then after that, what's it called? He just starts darting off, basically. And President Mike's like, what's it called? There's no countdown in a real battle. But, like, by the time the doors are fully open, there's just, like 20 destroyed robots. And they're all 3-pointers. So he already has 60 fucking points. So, I know, I'm making him fucking dumb OP. But he's basically, like, busting through robot after robot. You know, he's shaking in his boots because he's getting flashbacks for every robot that's destroyed. And then Gran Torino, he's confused as shit. He's like, what the fuck? Why does this kid have my quirk? And why does he, like, look so much like me? And, you know, he's trying to think, like, what the fuck happened? Wait, how the fuck is this kid a lot like me? So he doesn't understand. So he's basically, he plans on interrogating Deku the moment, like, this is over. So Deku, he's already, like, blasting around, basically. And like I said from my What If Deku was the reincarnation of Hashirama, there's gonna be basically like fake people who are in trouble, stuff like that, you know. So like there's people who are actually in trouble, and Deku does help them out because he still wants to be a hero to protect people and to use his quirk in public. So so Deku he's walking around like he's blasting around, and you know Gran Torino's like, wow, this kid's better than even me. Like this kid's like doing better than I did at his age. And you know, All Might hears this, and now he's even more fucking scared because he's like, this kid is better than, you know, Gran Torino. Like he doesn't know that Gran Torino means like he was better at his age. Basically, he ignored that part. He just heard better than me, and you know. So he's scared shitless. But like Gran Torino, like I'll just say Gran Torino, he'll have a hard time with Deku, but he could still beat him basically because of experience. But Deku would definitely give Gran Torino a run for his money since Gran Torino, his quirk relies on his breathing for one, and you know Gran Torino's old and he's not in his prime. Deku is in his prime right now, so technically like Deku would draw with Gran Torino, but but only out of pure experience would Gran Torino draw. But like everything else is like basically like all on Deku's side, so like pure like speed, strength, all that shit, like durability. Everything's on, you know, Deku's side, but Gran Torino just beats him in experience on how to use a quirk and how to be a hero. So, you know, so Deku, he's darting around. He's doing good work. So he has like 200 points, basically. And, you know, everybody's like, what the hell is this guy's quirk, you know? And, you know, basically, like, Gran Torino, he's looking in there. He sees that Deku is, like, using the quirk just like how he uses it. He sees that every time Deku stops, he just opens his mouth and, like, he's taking in a deep breath. He's like, and then he just shoots off again. So Gran Torino's like, he's kind of using it right. Because, like, there's a specific breathing way that Gran Torino does it that's, like, more effective than how Deku does it. Like, we'll just say that. Since he's old, he had to come up with new ways to do it. And, you know, Gran Torino's like, this kid's impressive otherwise. But, you know, he does have, like, a few things that need to be shined up. He does have some stuff that needs to be polished. Now he's just admiring Deku's like amazingness at this point, because you know why wouldn't he? Like that's his grandbaby, but he doesn't know that yet. So Deku he's just he's shooting around, he's darting around, basically, and he's destroying like all the robots. Like it's all being over. So you know the 0-pointer comes out. Deku's like, I'm not paid enough for that. And then he's about to dart away. But then, you know, basically he hears a help me. But it's like one of those like fake rescues. So basically the same shit they did with Nedre, but with an actual hero. So they had to ask agencies to do it this time because, you know, the third years were busy doing like end of the year tests. I don't know, some shit like that. So this time it's Mount Lady because fuck it, why not? And you know, this time she actually got stuck underneath some rubble and she actually got her leg hurt. She could like, you know, use her quirk, but like they made sure that the other people like they put like quirk canceling wristbands or some shit. I don't know. Basically, they just do something to where like she's actually in fucking danger and Deku actually has a reason to save her. Because if she wasn't, he wouldn't really, you know, try. But now he's like, ah shit. So he takes the deepest breath like he's taken all day. He's like, and then he just shoots. He blasts off. He's going like way faster than the 0-pointer. He throws the rubble off. He darts back, and you know, he's like, how the fuck am I gonna beat that thing? And then he's like, all right, we gotta go for the weak spots because he's fast definitely, but he's not All Might strong or anything like that. He can maybe do like a 1% hit, like if even that. So Deku, he darts around, basically. He darts, he hits the joint, he's hitting the joints and stuff like that. He's basically throwing the robot off his game. And, you know, the robot falls down. And then, like, Deku's like, oh, fuck, I'm too tired. And, you know, at this point, like, they've taken the quirk erasers off. And, you know, Deku's high in the air. And, like, he's falling. So, you know, if you think that Mount Lady's gonna save him, you're wrong, because Gran Torino comes and saves his own fucking goddamn grandson. So he catches him. He's like, you did good, kid. And, you know, Deku sees him, he smiles, and then he just passes out, because he overexerted himself. Because, you know, taking deep breaths like that while you're, like, you know, trying to do something like that, it's bad for him. So he just overexerted himself and passed out. So he wakes up in the nurse's office, like 2 people are sitting in front of him. No, 3 people. Kirishima's there because, All Might's there. And then, you know, All Might's there because Gran Torino is there. He's like, alright, kid, I need to talk to you. And, Deku smiles. He's like, alright, it's about time that we have this conversation. And he's like, you know who I am, right? He's like, yeah, you're Gran Torino. And then he's like, alright, yeah, and who are you? And, since, like, I said that Gran Torino's last name is, Torino. So, because I know that it's his first name, I'm pretty sure. But I just don't know his last name. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how to pronounce it. So he's just like, oh, my name's Zuko Torino. And then, the moment that happens, like, All Might, he's like, he laughs a little bit. He's like, how though? He's like, how though? And then, like, Deku, he's like, so you ever been to the bar with, like, an old friend of yours, apparently? Like, he doesn't really know, like, about Nana, but he knows that it was an old friend of Gran Torino's. He's like, well, what's it called? Apparently, the story went about this Gran Torino was at a bar with an old friend of his or something. Like, I don't know her name or something, but it was just a hero colleague. And, All Might is like, is that Nana? Like, he asked Gran Torino, was that Nana? He's like, yeah, it was Nana. And then he remembers, basically, like, the chick who had green hair. Like, this beautiful woman, basically. So, Gran Torino's like, your mother couldn't be, and then, he's like, your grandmother couldn't be, and he's like, yeah, she is. And then he gets up, he's like, why didn't she tell me anything, She's like, and then he's like, she didn't want to pester you about, cause since you were a hero and you were in your prime, having something like that happen while you were a hero would have been really bad, basically, for you. And, Gran Torino understands, because it would have been bad for his hero career, but he's slightly, like, sad that he didn't get to, meet his daughter and stuff like that. So he's like, so was it a boy or a girl? He's like, it was a girl, because like, Deku had been preparing himself for this conversation. He's like, can I go meet him? Like, and Deku looks at him like funny. He's like, what do you mean, can you? Of course you can come meet him. Like, he's like, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to come meet him. So Deku, he's like, come on, let's go. And then like All Might's like, can I meet him? Like, and then Deku looks at him. He's like Gramps, and then. Gran Torino, like, something hits him in the chest, like, Gramps. Like, it was like, it hit him in the feels, like, I've always wanted to be a grandpa, Like, he smiles to himself, he's like, yeah, what's up? He's like, should we take All Might? Like, and he's like, Toshi? Nah, we don't take Toshi. And then, like, All Might's like, come on, technically, she's basically like a sister to me since, you raised me. And, I have to do this because, like, why the fuck not? So, Inko divorced Tasashi. Like, alright, you know what I'm going to do. So, Gran Torino's like, alright, but if you try anything, with my daughter, I'm gonna kick your ass. And, and then he says, that goes 2 ways, buddy. Like, and then he looks and he sees, like, Deku, like looking at him, basically. And he's like, alright, let's get going. So, Deku's like, last one there's wrong night. So he jets off, and Gran Torino's like, I already like this kid. And he jets off too. And Kirishima's like, can he do that? He's like, and then All Might's like, listen, I don't question them. So All Might, he buffs up, he heads off, and then Kirishima's like, alright, since he already had a hardening quirk and it goes through his whole body, like, what's it called? He follows him since he has nothing better to do. And then, Deku, he's like, alright, let's slow down for those 2 slowpokes, since, like, All Might isn't really trying to, like, go 80% right now, and Gran Torino is probably around All Might's 50, so, Deku's slowing down for Gran Torino, but Gran Torino can beat him from experience, remember what I keep saying, and then, Deku, he's like, well, that was a good race, but I haven't even really been trying. And Gran Torino looks at him funny. He's like, what do you mean you haven't been trying? Deku takes a deep breath, and he just jets, like, at 80% of All Might's speed. And, Gran Torino's stunned, because this kid's way faster than him. But then, Deku stops, basically. He's like, let's go back for those slowpokes, basically. So they wait a little bit, and, they see All Might and Kirishima. Like, Kirishima's out of breath. All Might, he's like cracking his neck, like, he's like, young Kirishima, you have to go, what's it called, you have to go bet faster than that, I was slowing down for you. Like, Kirishima's the slowest out of all of them. He's like, I'm sorry, All Might, but you guys are too fast. Like, he's breathing heavy, he's like, wow, you're pretty slow, man. Yeah, he's like, bro, that's not fair. Your quirk is literally based off speed. And Deku's like, yeah, but I can still kick your ass. And like Hiroshima gets like a shiver down his spine. He doesn't know why, but he's like, that was manly. And then Deku's like, the fuck? He's like, what does that mean? You're like, don't worry. So Kirishima and Deku are gonna be like best buds in this. Like Deku won't admit it, but Kirishima will be like, yeah, that's my best bro. So so he knocks on the door. He's like, Granny, I'm home. Since after Hisashi, after they divorced Hisashi basically, like Inko's mom moved in with her, and so what's it called? Inko's mother, she opens the door. She's like, "Oh, my baby Izuku," and just so Gran Torino doesn't look weird, she's also short. I'm just doing this because okay, wait, how the fuck did Gran Torino get short? I don't understand this. I don't get it. That's not how science works. But without my blabbering. So she's short too. She's like, my baby boy. Like she hugs him basically, and Deku's like, I got someone for you to meet. And then and he's like, well, not really meet. I got 2 people for you to meet and 1 person for you to see again. And then she's like, oh, that'll be good. Any of your old friends? Maybe that Katsuki boy? And then he's like, no, not the Katsuki. And then he moves to the side, and she sees Gran Torino, and she's like, oh no, she's like, he's like, I'm really sorry that I couldn't have been there to help you. Basically, I wish you would have told me about this. I would have tried, Basically, she's crying a little bit. He's like, he tries to comfort her. He's like, oh, it's alright. I get why you did it, stuff like that. Cause Gran Torino's understanding, and she like, isn't that just nice? And for plot's sake, Inko never got fat. Well, no, actually, not even for plot's sake, because Inko got fat because Deku was quirkless. But Deku's not quirkless. He has an awesome fucking quirk. Because, if I had Jet, oh my god, I would love Jet. Jet and Overhaul are, my favorite quirks, not gonna lie. But, so, so Inko walks out. She's like, hey, Mom, what's going on? And then, Gran Torino looks at her and, is this her? And, and then she's like, yeah, yes, it's her. And, he's crying because, that's his daughter. Fucking, he would be a weirdo if he didn't fucking cry, after seeing his long lost daughter, basically. He's like, my baby girl, and, she's crying, she's like, Dad, basically, she hugs him, even though, they haven't met. It feels like they haven't seen each other in forever, even though they never even met, So, All Might, he feels awkward now. He feels like, maybe I shouldn't have came here, basically. And then, Inko looks up, she's like, oh, it's All Might, and she sees Kirishima, she's like, who's this, Deku's like, that's Spiky, that's Shark Boy, and then Kirishima's like, hey, my name's Kirishima. He's like, alright, that's Kirishima the Shark Boy. And then he's like, stop calling me Shark Boy. Basically just, making friendly jokes and stuff like that, even though they're not friends fully yet. But, what's it called? So basically, All Might introduces himself. He's like, hi, my name's Toshinori Yagi. Your father taught me everything that I know about my own quirk. She's surprised about this because Deku kind of knew because he knew that Gran Torino was a teacher and that he mainly taught All Might, but she didn't know that she didn't know about that, so she's like, wow, my father taught you everything, yeah, he's an amazing teacher and stuff like that. And Gran Torino's watching All Might very closely. He's like, don't you try anything, Toshi, All Might's never done anything. All Might's never tried anything with any chicks, stuff like that. But he knows that his wife was not his wife, but the woman that he had Inko with was beautiful. And, he basically figured that Inko would be beautiful as well, and she is. So he's like, don't you dare try anything, Yagi. He's looking at All Might, and All Might feels the daggers, and he's like, why don't you all come in to talk, and stuff like that. So basically, they all come inside, and they just cook dinner and they have a good day. Well, God, I enjoyed making this what if. I loved it. I can't wait. If you guys want a part 2, please tell me. So in the comments. I was supposed to do. I'm not gonna lie. I was supposed to do what if Deku was Shazam before this, but it just popped into my head all of a sudden because I was watching My Hero again. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it. So yeah, the ship will be Mount Lady, since a person did ask me for a Mount Lady ship on the Hashirama, and I didn't want to make it on Shazam because like it would be weird because I don't know how to give him like a ship that would be older than him when he like transforms into an older guy. So I was like, Shazam won't work with a Mount Lady ship. So yeah, if you want any ships for Shazam, you know, comment that down below. But the ship for this will be Mount Lady. I know, you guys hate me. Ugh, you know. So I know some of you guys don't like the older women ship, but I just try to satisfy everyone's needs. Please don't say a harem. It's not that I don't like harems, it's just I don't know how to make a harem. Like, no. So, you know, basically that's that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I sure as hell did. And have a good day. Later.